everybody. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. It's still going on. Just over an hour left on Turkey Day. Michigan basketball down south in the Bahamas, and they score a victory over Stanford by 5 points, 83-78. It is a final, and the Wolverines will play again tomorrow. 3 days in a row. They'll take on Texas Tech around 6 o'clock. I say that because they're supposed to play around 7:30. And what do they tip off? 8:45, the way things work. So, it's you got to be a little bit flexible if you're going to watch the Wolverines down in the battle for Atlantis. But it was worth it if you stayed up and watched the night seesaw back and forth game where found Michigan out of the gate. You're watching, and it was a little bit reminiscent of yesterday when they had a poor performance in the first half and looked like they were going to get run out of the gym. I mean, they were down 14 points in the first half, but they come back. Michigan does, and take a 1-point lead, and then the way the first half went was kind of how the second half went. Game number 6 on the season. Michigan needing another win to get that game, another game down in the Caribbean, and down that 14 in the first half. They come back. They do get the lead by 1 at the break. It was 45-44. Then Michigan looked like they were going to pull away in the second half as they got a big fat double-digit lead, and they were really putting it on them. They ran out to a 13-point lead with 12 minutes left, and that was highlighted by Olivier Comwa with a steal and a punch down on the break. And then Terrace Reed Jr., the same thing, jumped out there, and he came down and threw one down, and it looked like Michigan was going to win this one. Things were looking good, at least midway through the second half. But as the game went, and this one back and forth affair, and it was down to a 3-point lead with 7 left, and it was all tied up with 4.5 to go. And then Olivier Comwa made a nice jump hook to give Michigan the lead with 4 minutes to go, and they didn't look back, but they got Doug McDaniel making the 2 key buckets under 4 minutes to go. I think both of them were floaters in the lane. Let me look. A floater with 3 minutes to go put Michigan up 4, and then another floater with under a minute to go put Michigan up a half dozen, 78-72. And then some free throws, TW2 split a pair. McDaniel hit both of his free throws with around 23 seconds left, and Michigan gets the win. That's how it went down there at looked like the ballroom in the battle for Atlantis. Looks like it's a lot of fun. I mean, I know I would have fun if I was down there watching the games. I mean, what do you go out to the beach, and then you go and watch a little basketball, you go back out to the beach, let's go. Couple of days in a row doing that. That sounds like a great time. Looks like a great time. Basketball and surf. Not for the players. There was a time, and I'm thinking, man, maybe these guys spend a little bit too much time at the beach after watching the first half yesterday in the first 10 minutes of the first half. I was thinking the same thing, but Michigan able to get the job done. Let's go through it a little bit, talk about who looked good and what's going on. As always, if you're out there, you got any feedback, any of your observations, type it up on the screen. I'd like to hear what you think of Michigan, how you thought they looked. Let's put some of the numbers out here. Here's Doug McDaniel. He had 20 points. He's been averaging over 20 points per game so far through these 6 games through the season. 20 points, 1 board, and 8 assists in 37 minutes of play. Yesterday, McDaniel, he missed some free throws, and this was against Memphis. Okay, I mean, he's their guy. I mean, like, you got to have him. And I thought maybe he wore down. You miss some free throws and you miss some shots, and that's sort of how it looks, whether it's true or not. That's how it looked. And then, but him and Comwa, that's the 1-2 punch that Michigan has in terms of scoring. It's the way it was tonight. Olivier Kamwa, he had 16 points, 5 boards, and 2 assists. And sometimes when you watch Kamwa, he looks like he could be one of the best players in the country. And then, a couple turnovers and, at his size, when, you're sitting there, he's a 6'9". Sometimes he puts it on the floor, turns it over a little bit, but excellent player. And, somebody Michigan's really going to lean on. I have to call out and give it up to TW2. I was on him yesterday, I think for good reason. He looked like he had lost his confidence and just did not have a very good game. I think you would admit that. Anybody that watched it, thought that too. But a huge bounce back for Terrence Williams. He shot the ball with authority, and he was knocking them down as well. Had 11 at the break for Michigan, and then hit some big shots in the second half. And is this the way it's going to go? If TW2 plays well, Michigan plays well. How about 4 of 5 from downtown for Williams the second? Yeah. I mean, you do something like that. Michigan in their first 3 games, they were fabulous. Everybody played well. And then against Long Beach State and then against Memphis, shaky first half against Memphis, and then shaky first 10 minutes of the game. Who knows? It's going to be a hot and cold team. That's basketball for you. Good to see Terrace Reed Jr. in double figures. And then Namari Burnett, he's sneaky in that he gets his points in bunches, whether it's like all of his points, 20 plus in the first half against St. John's at MSG to keep, Michigan in that game and put the hammer down with Burnett, where he showed, had the offensive explosion. And then, he gets some, you think at times maybe he's just going to sit back and he's a 3-point shooter, but no, he's got some moves, and he's just getting them where he gets them in bunches. So that's how it's been for Namari Burnett, but he's a little bit better player than. I didn't really know what to expect. Didn't see much of him in his travels, but I like his game. I like what I see there, and then you get all 5 starters in double figures. That's what you're talking about. I thought that Michigan wore down Stanford, in this game of runs where, Michigan made the plays in the last 4 minutes. And, Stanford had some bunnies. I mean, sitting there driving the lane where you'd say, oh man, that's a layup. And then they missed it. And then they missed another one. Then they missed another one. They missed, let me just look here, with under 4 minutes. Air ball, Stanford. Missed layup. Stanford. Missed layup. Stanford. Missed 3. Stanford. I mean, that's the way it went for them. I mean, they had good shots and good opportunities. As far as the bench goes, Will Cheddar, 7 points. Will Cheddar, somebody that, he's, I think he's a fan favorite. What am I saying? I think that is true when it comes down to Cheddar, but I like his game. I like his, I think he's a team favorite. You're rooting for all of your teammates, but you can see when Cheddar's out there, because he plays the game. He's got a serious look on his face, a serious demeanor, and then when he does something positive, it seems to lift up his teammates even a little bit more than everybody. He's a spark plug. How about that? Will Cheddar off the bench for Michigan. Obviously, he's going to be big. So what do you take from the first 6 games? And other than that, that was it. Trey Jackson, had a bucket. We didn't see GW3 in there much. So this is a 7-man rotation. What it looks like in the games that Michigan has won, that they get not only their starting 5, but then they get at least a player off the bench. They get 6 players playing well. And in their 2 losses, you can't say that. Yesterday against Memphis, they didn't. It was a poor first half where you'd give them a failing grade, and then they got it together in the second half. You can't do that against most teams. You can't do that in the Big Ten. I know it happens, but not if you want to win more ball games than you lose. I mean, you can't have that long of stretches where you're getting beat, and so hopefully they learn from that. And then I don't know, what Long Beach State, whatever happened there, one of those things. But you can't let that, if they would have lost tonight, you start thinking, 3-game slide. Wow. But here they get an opportunity to play Texas Tech tomorrow. You go out there and you win that one, and you come north and you're feeling pretty good because you're not playing. You get a week off after this, 3 games in 3 days, this stretch, and you come back and you're feeling pretty good about yourself if you're able to get that dub tomorrow. That's what I would say. Let's look at that upcoming schedule for Michigan that I just mentioned. It is what I saw, 6 o'clock ESPNU. I'm not sure. I think I have ESPNU. I don't know if I have it or not, but it's supposed to be a 6 o'clock jump. And as mentioned, stay tuned for that because tonight was supposed to be 7:30 and it didn't play for over an hour from when they were supposed to. But the upcoming schedule brought to you by the Maize and Blue Reviews. Good afternoon, Michigan football and basketball, 2 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That means tomorrow, Black Friday, we will be in action. Oh, yeah, all day long, right here on this feed. We have an 11:30 Sharpening the Edge show where we'll make 9 picks in college football, Michigan State. I guess I'm going to have to say 8 because the Lions played today. Hope that didn't ruin your Thanksgiving, but we'll have 8 picks for you. And then 2 o'clock, we'll talk a lot about the football game coming up on Saturday. And then we'll be with you here following the basketball game tomorrow. So a lot of that. And then after the Texas Tech game tomorrow, then you're on to December for Michigan. Look at the first 3 games for Michigan in December. Michigan is going to go out to the great Northwest and play Oregon coming up a week from Saturday. And then Big Ten action starts. Remember how they did this the last few years? Get a couple Big Ten games, and you get a couple non-conference games. I like it, but two doozies to start it out for the Wolverines. The Hoosiers will come on in and take on the Wolverines Tuesday, December the 5th, and then a little bit of a break all the way till Sunday when Michigan will be in Iowa City. They will take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. It is here, college basketball. And, sports fans, when you get to the Thanksgiving Day weekend, wherever you want to extend it to, yesterday all the way till Sunday, what I'm trying to say is if you're a sports fan, specifically a college basketball fan, and then a football fan, both college and pro, it is chock full of game after game after game. And not bad because if your household's anything like mine, now you got a little food surplus that you're ready to go over the next couple of days. You know what you're going to be doing. Load it up. Let's go. With the Thanksgiving leftovers. Let's do it. All right. All of it to go tomorrow. Michigan scores the victory, 83-78, puts them at 4-2 on the season. They'll take on the Red Raiders. Remember that game? Was that John Beilein's last game at Michigan? I think. And that was a terrible tournament game for Michigan. Sorry to bring that one up, but it was a rout that Texas Tech was able to put on Michigan. That'll do it. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you have a great Black Friday. We'll join you tomorrow on this very feed for all those different shows I mentioned. And then as for Michigan basketball, we'll be on after the game talking about the Wolverines and the Red Raiders in the battle for Atlantis down there in the Bahamas. Until then, signing off, Michigan with the 5-point victory, 83-78. Everybody have a great night.